And we're live. Here we are. It's Sam. It's Richard. It is a Thursday for reasons called my wife's birthday, and it's the AutoGraders BetaSaaSers meeting. If I want to go and find the agenda, I will need to look in this over here. Did you have any items to add to the agenda, or maybe perhaps you already have?
No, just the usual stuff. I'm here today, mainly just if there's any particular news. But I'm going to be doing homework 0, homework 1, and it's a little while before we get into anything crazy. The textbook. I assume if there was any news, we would hear it. So I assume there's no particular news.
Well, the news is the where I had got to with Armando. Oh, and hello, Rose.
Hi.
Hello. Hey, how you doing?
Not bad. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. All the better for seeing you. And your video just froze there, and I wonder if that means that you're still with us. But maybe
I can hear you, Sam.
Well, I might just turn your video off, Rose, if I can.
I already did.
Ah, well done. Yes, so I was just saying, I'm all the better for having you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, most welcome. Did you have? We were just discussing the agenda. Did you have any items that you maybe have you added this one about students can't sign up for Agile Ventures?
Yeah. When they try to sign up, they get some message saying that it's been temporarily disabled or something like that. It's kind of strange.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that.
I had a bunch successfully sign up, but then since then,
yeah,
this has been going on for like a day and a half or so.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. Good show. I noticed that Janet is also joined us. Hello, Janet. How are you doing?
Hi. Good.
Yeah. Hello. You all right? Good to have you with us. We were just looking at the agenda. Did you have anything to add to the agenda this week?
I do not. So far, it seems good. I do want to make sure that I'm looking in the right place for homework solutions.
Okay. Good show. I will maybe add that to the agenda because yes, that's a very good point.
And I want to tell Rose I used one of your activities yesterday and it was awesome.
Oh, fantastic! I'm so happy.
It was so much fun.
Oh, cool. Which activity was that?
So Rose has a bunch where the students have to answer, a bunch of questions, and you give them 10 minutes, and then you say, in 10 minutes you need to have answers for all these questions, and I want to be able to project it up on the board. So I gave them the 10 questions, and they all kind of looked at me with like deer in the headlights, and I'm like, go!
Yeah.
And then finally, one of the students is like, I'll create a Google Doc, and then a couple of the female students actually stood up and started saying, okay, you two on question 1. You're right. It was just brilliant. And then at the end, I'm going through the questions, and then they all started laughing, and I turned around, and somebody had typed at the bottom, "We made it."
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
yeah, they don't think they can do it until they try it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just really, it was really fun. So I'm looking forward to trying more of your exercises and hopefully coming up with some of my own.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's so good to hear. Oh, good stuff. Okay. And Rose, is that something that you use regularly in your class for a while?
Right. Well, I think I may have said before that what I've done in order to kind of get rid of the disconnect between using edX stuff and having a live class is that I have this organization for every class, and I've actually moved this to Blackboard this semester. So they're looking at a previous version of the course where everything is in edX.
Right.
So what I have now is I have this structure, and the coursework for every day is divided up into an overview, a short quiz, a background section, activities, and then preparation for the next class. And so we start with a short quiz, and then we go on to this background activity, and either we talk about something concerning the history of software engineering, or something that's touched on in the book, but we go into a little more detail. For instance, we have exercises on trade studies, exercises on psychomatic complexity, things like that, going a little more detail into PERT charts and Gantt charts. But for many of them, what I do is, instead of, what I used to do is say, this is what I want them to learn, and so I'd prepare something, and then I'd be a talking head for a while. And then I said, well, this is ridiculous, because what would really be more important is to get them engaged and say, I want you to find out about this, become detectives.
Right,
and
right.
I give them a series of questions, and I say, you've got a certain amount of time to do it, and I want it produced as a single document from the entire class, and you can figure that out any way you want. Use whatever strategy you think will work. And it's pretty interesting, because as Janet was saying, the first time or so, it's deer in the headlight. They just sit there and they're like, you're really not asking us to do this. And then they start getting, kind of getting going, and they do evolve over time. The first time they're even just trying to figure it out, and sometimes they're successful in answering everything, sometimes they're not. But by the second time, a lot of them have really got stuff down as far as strategy and working together, and it forces them to work together right at the beginning of the semester. They don't have to know anything in order to work together and produce something.
Right.
And I think that can be, I mean, my first class yesterday was absolutely exhilarated when they got to the end of this exercise and they had answered everything. They'd answered it well, and I mean, I think they surprised themselves. But then the other thing is that I'm also preparing them for the final. The final is completely collaborative.
Oh, really?
Yes. So and I started experimenting with that too. Well, I started experimenting with that 2 semesters ago, and I've found that it seems to be very successful. I put questions on Pivotal Tracker. Students have to claim them. They have to claim so many questions. They have to meet with their team. Everyone's put in an exam team. They have to meet with their team with their answers, and the team collaborates to improve the answers. And then on the day of the final, they have to meet, and another team reviews all of their answers, and they review another team's answers, and then as a class they have to put in one document and submit it to me 24 hours later.
Right.
And I don't know, it's kind of fun.
Sounds wonderful. Sounds wonderful. Yeah. Well, go on.
Oh, I was just going to say, the first time I did it, my God, I thought that the students were going to kill me. but since then, well, of course, now I'm doing a lot more ahead of time, saying, this is how we're going to do everything.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What wonderful. I mean, well, this is. I think it's just the kind of thing that really this should be all about. Forget all this stuff from David Armando. This is the gold mine. This is like, the community, the stuff that's bubbling out. So, and am I right in saying that you've got all this written up as activities, but it's currently in your Blackboard framework? Is that right?
Oh, okay. Well, I have an older version that Janet has been looking at from edX from last semester.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, I mean, every semester I try to make it a little better.
Sure.
But last semester, it's not too bad, and I think it'd be great if we could come up with a series of these things that we all contribute to, and
Absolutely.
again, kind of improve it all the time.
Right.
But some of these things are collaborative. Some of them are read this and then maybe jot down answers to this or that. I mean, it varies, right? It varies depending on the subject matter and what we're doing.
Sure.
And towards the end of the semester, I mean, I do more of this at the beginning of the semester to try to get them used to working together, because unless you force them, they won't.
Right.
Okay. And then at the end of the semester, I don't need to do this anymore. There's less background activity to cover. So a lot of times at the end of the semester, basically they're coming in, they're working on their homework, they're working on their project, and that's about it.
Right. Sure. Yeah. No. Yes. So what I guess at the risk, or the question that immediately comes to mind is that you were previously putting this stuff into edX. You've moved this into Blackboard, I guess, because Blackboard's a more comfortable editing environment.
There's a number of reasons. Number one, I was pressured from my university to do
Oh,
this.
I see. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. They kind of are on this thing. Well, first of all, they want to start giving certain courses online.
Uh-huh.
I guess kind of the way you do with the Hawaiian courses.
Right, right.
Yeah, and they want it all to come from Blackboard. So what I have now is I'm still, of course, using the Spock, but my Blackboard gives links directly to everything in the Spock, whether it's reading or activities or lectures or whatever.
Right.
And I tell the students, look, you can go to the Spock directly. Once you know how it's organized, just have at it. But for those students who have a tendency to get a little lost, which I've had plenty of, right? I have this format, like I said, dividing everything up. Everything is labeled W, the week number, point, either 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending on whether it's overview, quiz, background, etc. So they can kind of follow it linearly. And then with the day, so it's either labeled with an M or a W, because that's when I have my classes this semester. And so that way, hopefully, if a student's not sure what to do, they just go to the course material for that day. They can look it up easily, and then they know they're going to follow this routine. And it may point them to many different places, including the Spock, largely the Spock, but it can point them to other places as well.
Right. Interesting. Very interesting. And what I'm sort of creating an action item there. I mean, for myself, which is like, it would be great to have, like the like this exercise. I mean, I guess these are sort of exercises for the flipped classroom in some regard. To have a description for this in some, for me personally, I would slap it into a GitHub repository and be, evolving it and collaborating on it on there. But I guess that's like it's
certainly doable. Okay.
Yeah.
My issue is that I am still moving all this stuff into Blackboard. Last semester, I had to do this for my Python course. And so I updated it. I moved everything into Blackboard. I made links. In fact, I actually made another version that they can run online if they want to.
Right.
And that was a lot of work.
Sure.
And this semester, I'm so far along, but I would like to have it all done as soon as possible. And I'm thinking that once I have this done, because I can just export it and whatever, it's going to be a lot easier to get involved with other things instead of constantly having to update this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting what we've done with edX is, basically pull the homework assignments is pull them out of edX because it's just ridiculous trying to maintain something in there. It's so much work, and at least for me, it's so much easier to maintain it in GitHub. It's just a dream by comparison. Anyway, well, that's something to look at going forward. Thank you so much for describing that. I've taken some notes there, and wow, cool. I guess we could have more free-flowing conversation around that. I guess I'm tempted to come back to the agenda and just knock those items off, and then we can have more free-flowing conversation at the end. The two courses versus one, I've set, I think, for everybody here up with single courses. Fabio's holding out for a two-parter. I guess my plan there is at least to finish delivering the MOOC, because he doesn't need his till March, and basically I want to finish making the changes to the MOOC before giving him the full two-parter. And anyway, I've been trying to experiment with this content libraries thing from edX, and I'm basically I followed their instructions about dealing with content libraries, and it didn't work, and I got an error message, and they don't seem to have responded to that. Follow up with edX about content library error. Then we've got textbook, which is what Rich and I were just talking when you guys joined. So Armando I've been having this sort of ongoing asynchronous conversation with Armando in email about, yes, we must really get started on that, and I keep on sort of saying, so could I do something for you, or I don't know. As far as I can tell, he's just been so busy that he hasn't. I haven't seen any sign of him getting started on it, and I've kind of been offering my support. But yeah, so I think we have to assume that this semester we won't necessarily get a textbook update. Armando himself is like, I think he wants the textbook updates for his, for his course. Like, I mean, I think he's going to be in a bit of a tricky situation if
I would think so.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean,
does he at least have some sort of cheat sheet for saying to his students, all right, all these examples use Rails 3, this is the difference?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, what we have is what I've kind of shown you before, is that we have all of the issues here in the, this is what I did in September last year, which is basically go through and identify all of these things. I mean, it's I mean, at the time, I was saying, should I just start making changes? And he was saying, well, hold on, let's do a high-level overview of everything that needs to change for our Spec 3, Ruby 2, Rails 4. So I did all of that, and I think I got one.
Yeah, that's amazing.
One thing in, and then, but yeah. So he's saying, all right. I mean, I guess if he kind of says, it was in one of these funny situations where it's almost like he's sitting on the task and taking the lead for it. If he said to me, particularly, I've done a key thing now, which is I've just written the constitution for Agile Ventures charity, which is a key thing I wanted to get done this week. I mean, he could say to me next week, okay, Sam, I really can't do this. Can you do it for me? And I could, in principle, just go ahead and do it. But so yeah. I mean, yeah. So again, I think that puts us in a situation of, like, not sure, and we should not rely on anything this semester. I think if I can't pin him down next week, I may take matters into my own hand. But at the same time, for me, I mean, while I'd love to see the textbook updated, my big thing that I'm doing at the moment is I'm just setting Agile Ventures up as an official UK charity and turning that into a proper kind of non-profit business. So that's kind of my that sort of takes the product. And then there's also running the MOOC and a few other things. But anyway. So yeah, any other thoughts on the textbook? I mean, it's almost as if these things, it's like this big distributed task. We could split it out amongst us. I mean, but I expect you guys are so busy and certainly don't need the overhead of getting set up with building this. The whole book's in LaTeX, and there's a whole flow for the development and delivery of new features and so on in the book.
So one of the things that we could, in the meantime, do is, as we hit these things going through our class, or as our students hit these things, to maybe send them out on the mailing list.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Because I think remember last time I was managing to hit a lot of the stuff first. So whoever happens to be the one who gets it, get it out there, and that'll.
Well, the other thing, I guess, indeed. I mean, the other thing is to point the students to this thing. I mean, maybe
so they'll have access to that.
This is I believe, is this? Oh, right. No, the students don't have it. It's private. I wish everything was just public. Why can't it all just be public? Why can't we all share and it all be free? Okay. Yeah, that's so. I don't know. Yeah. Well, absolutely. Certainly sharing these things. I mean, as you say, like, if we could collaboratively evolve, I mean, I guess almost what we need, he said, thinking, is if we had a repo that was basically the errata. I mean, what we should have, we should have a repo which is the code examples for the textbook.
Yeah.
Right. So that would be free, and like lots of textbooks have that, don't they? You can go to the
sure.
You can go online and you can download all the things. Now, Armando has it set up here. It has it all throughout Pastebin, which is I hate. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, if I thought, did I not almost create a repo? I keep on doing this, trying to start collaborations. Is there? Well, we've got. Oh, right. I just created this instructor community resources. We could.
There's a way to get that errata made public?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. I understand that they don't want solutions etc. published, but there's other things that could be set apart as public repos that students could access.
Yeah. Well, I wonder here is, I mean, the path of least resistance is what we could do is within this instructor community resources, I could just immediately, if we did here and we said, for example, we called this, we had a textbook directory, and then we had, you know, chapter 1. And then basically this chapter 1 could have all of the code examples and not necessarily the text, but it could have the code examples updated to the new stuff. I mean, it could even start at the top with, this would be like, you know, known errata for chapter 1. I mean, we do have like a public errata list, but it's yeah, it's
hard to navigate.
Yeah, a Google spreadsheet. No, for chapter 1, and then, you know, code like this. So I mean, we could certainly be sharing individual things on the mailing list, but we could be putting in here basically this would be like a public space for you know, these things. And so when we were saying to our student, you know, okay, right, like chapter 1, yeah, there's a textbook, you know, it updates haven't come through yet. We could basically send them the link to this, and they would see, here's all the code, here's all the, you know, and here's the gotchas that you've got to work out for, and you know, other things like in here, like what you were just, I mean, not, I don't know what, something's happened. No, okay, sorry. Calm down, Sam. Sorry, I just did that. I had some coffee, so you'll excuse me. We could have like, this is like class activities. So this thing that you were just talking about here, do you have a name for that activity, that day 1 activity?
I'm gonna jump out of this because I'm trying to teach my class, but I'll catch the video. All the stuff I'm hearing in the background is real interesting. Okay.
Good stuff. Thanks, Richard. Take care. Bye for now.
Good to see you, Richard. Have a great day. Bye.
I got to see his actual live classroom earlier on. It was like, wow, he's got a real classroom. Right. Anyway.
Wow.
But Rose, yeah, what would be the name for that activity that you have?
Well, actually, I have like activities, and then I have what I call a background section for the class, and that background section. It's kind of, it could be all sorts of things. It has some activities. It just has some stuff that I want them to learn outside of class.
Sure. But
you know, it has stuff that we do in class.
Sure.
Why don't I just bring this up? Hold on a second, because I could share my screen.
You sure?
And you could see what it looks like this semester, at least the part that's done already. Blackboard.
So while Rose is doing that, I have a suggestion, Sam, on the errata. I wonder if we maybe don't want to call it errata. Because what I'm worried about is that the students are, I'm going to get these course evals, the students are going to be like, this book was full of errors.
Right.
Okay.
Not really errors, they're just where the material, they're updates. So I think calling it just updates and saying that, you know, we don't have it officially released.
Yeah.
Here's the updates. There we go.
Yeah, and magically,
I love that idea.
It was changed. That's right. But yeah, I mean, while you're sharing your screen, I mean, we can, all of these things are temporary. We can change them. I just meant here as a, you know, for the class activity. So this is called like a warm-up collaboration. Like this. You know, at some time as you ended up having why is that not warm-up collaboration.md? Hit the return button. And something else is happening. What's going on? What's going on? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Oh, I need to actually put something in the file. Okay. But so if I go back over here and we say, students having, I mean, I'm just putting like a random bit of text in there. Can I just save that? Put in your file. There we go. So, and then we've got, you know, the details of your activity could go in here, and so yeah, so you've got, so you're showing us the Blackboard now in the screen share.
Yeah, this is my course, and it opens that weekly outline at glance. And I have instructions for if you're just viewing it. And I've laid out, you know, kind of what we're going to do, and instructions for registering for the SPOC. You know, a variety of typical information. Here's the weekly coursework. Right, and what I do is I start them off with a week -1, which is just to give them an overview of the structure. So first thing, I give them the link to the SPOC, the beginning of the information for that day. Then we have overview, daily quiz, background activities, and then preparation for next class. So here, week 0, which we just finished, we have, again, a link to the SPOC, overview, daily quiz. Now, I have solutions that they can't see, but you know, they can see the quiz. It's on a timer. The quiz is on a timer, so they see it at the very beginning of class. And then, for instance, here's, let me see, I think I had a short background activity the first time. Okay,
yeah, so you've got that. I think I just saw there it had a list of 10 questions.
Well, this one didn't have 10. Okay, this one was 3 questions, but it was the very first course. The second one had 10.
Okay.
Can you see?
I jumped right into 2.
I'm sorry?
I jumped right into 2.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. But yeah. So did you read this?
I'm sort of I can see. Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of thing that I would love to have in the GitHub repo where we could, you know, people could be making comments on it and suggestions.
I mean, it wouldn't be terribly hard for me to transfer this stuff if you feel it's useful.
Oh, and it sounds like it would be fantastically useful and valuable for the community to have this kind of exposed and be in a place where people could sort of pick it up and use it. I mean, yeah, I mean, this place that I just, and yeah, I mean, feel free to just, if you just wanted to like copy and paste that and send that to me, you know, in an email or whatever, I'll happily put it in the GitHub repo for you to save you a bit of time, and you know, and then share the GitHub repo link with everyone, and we can all, you know, iterate on that.
So you know, the very first class, you know, we had a little practice quiz. We had this. Then we went to the activities, and for instance, the Ruby preview that goes right to the SPOC.
Right.
Okay, and then you know, I have preparation for next class, so it says what they need to read, what they need to lectures they, you know, so, and then here's Wednesday stuff.
Sure.
All right, and we had 10 questions Wednesday. Now these questions were really follow-up, because normally we discuss usually the first half of a chapter on Monday and the second half on Wednesday, and because it's the start, I have questions here that really relate more to the textbook than to you know, kind of deepening their knowledge of other things. But like when I see that, for instance, the textbook doesn't really talk about how software engineering came about, doesn't talk about like the software crisis and other things. So, you know, I felt that was useful. And then actually, this is the part that's more like the other background sections where we talk about the history of software process models and look at them.
Yeah,
and then they have an activity they have to do between yesterday and Monday.
Yeah.
Having to do with the way people work together and things like that.
Wonderful.
Another thing that the book doesn't mention is the idea of lines of communication. Right, so I have them compute that, and you know, so they get a feel for.
Well, it sounds wonderful. My condolences that your institution is pushing towards Blackboard. I mean, I've had to use Blackboard in the past myself, and just, I mean, not that it doesn't have lots of wonderful features, but it just seems to go. It's
very tedious.
It's not really set up for collaboration and quickness of things. Interestingly, you might so you know, Thomas Ogman is my co-founder of Agile Ventures.
Yeah, I know Thomas.
Yeah, you know Thomas, and so he's set up actually a boot camp in Sweden called Craft Academy, and he's open sourcing his online materials for that.
Oh, that's great.
So they're all there. And interestingly, he's using this thing. He's using a Git book format, which I was just looking at, which you may or may not.
I guess I don't know about that.
But this is a sort of a new thing that basically there's a framework called Gitbook that allows you to turn a Git repository into kind of a book with you know, a table of contents, like like this. And then we go in here. Let's have a look. Yeah, and then so you basically have, you know, kind of a nice navigation. Yeah, I mean, this is I would just so love if the, you know, the whole. I think this would be, you know, if we had even if the repository was private, you know, if we just had a framework like this and the textbook was available through Gitbooks, I think that would just be it would be awesome, because we could really, like, as a community of instructors, be collaborating on, you know, it would be like a you know, a software repository, but we would then have, you know, this as a way of displaying and, you know, for the students to navigate, and we can forget about all this ridiculous Amazon,
that would be
Kindle, and
awesome. Just awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. My course, I always kept my own websites, right? I always managed my own websites, and they were public, so that anyone who wanted to see my course material could do so, right? And I kind of feel strongly about that, because I work at a public university. We are funded by state taxes, and I feel like anybody who wants to should be able to look at it, at least in New York State. And you know, I certainly would love to see a case where, I'm meeting the requirements of my university. I'm putting this stuff on Blackboard, which is taking me forever, and it's really tedious and a pain in the you-know-what. But once it's there, I can easily copy it to something else.
Yeah, sure. Yes, that's a pragmatic thing. I mean, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this to Armando, and I noticed actually that Git's they've got a Gitbook pricing framework here, and it looks like they can get, you know, they can pay a certain amount, and you get to basically have a certain number of private books, and then you know, that would be, you know, I mean, and Armando's got like a diamond. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll just, at the very least, I'll put this link to where's it gone now? I'll put here on the random notes. This is a link to this is Gitbook for Thomas Ockman's bootcamp, and that's, you know, he's just sort of started that, and that's very like a work in progress. But I'm really proud of his commitment to open source there, and you know, there's a repo on the back, and I'm gonna put an action item in there for Sam suggest Gitbooks to Armando, because I think that's I mean, I think the thing is that Armando, I think in the long run, he would really like everything to be completely open. He feels it's important to have, you know, as a way of, you know, it needs to be kind of like a paid textbook in order for, you know, standard or traditional academic institutions to adopt it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and also
my bookstore won't you can't get it at my bookstore. All right, they refuse to carry it.
Well, and I had very similar problems at HPU. It's I guess it comes down to the you know, in order to like pay for the editing and so, you know, to produce.
They wouldn't make a profit, so they're not about to carry it. But you know, the students don't mind at all. They're like, great, I'll get it from Amazon. It's really inexpensive.
No, I think compared to many textbooks, it's very cheap. I mean, I think that I mean, I've talked to Armando about it before. But he felt the need. I think he and Dave felt the need to charge for it so that they could then, you know, have funds to pay there was a professional indexer involved in doing those things and so on. But anyway, we're having a great time. We're not making our way through the agenda very fast, but we're having fun. So I think that's all that matters, really. So we've got, what have we got here? Richard ran off before. We've got an agenda item for Richard. He was going to tell us more about this Echo Pro system. But I'll have to follow up with him. And well, what we kind of rushed through at the end was I think he was making this point about the AutoGrader output for Homework 0 is rather verbose, which I agree with, and something I should have a look at. But let's come on to actually the two things that you guys brought up, which is one for you, Rose, that students were having trouble signing up with Agile Ventures. But,
all of a sudden.
There's two things going on there. One is that GitHub had an outage for like 4 hours, and so if they were signing up via GitHub, then that would have been problematic.
Now, how would they do that? That doesn't sound. I mean, they just go on to Agile Ventures and it says sign up, and they sign up.
Well, there's a button that's a sign up with GitHub, so they, you know, would be trying to.
I see. For their. Okay, yeah.
So basically, right. if they've got an existing GitHub account, they can sign into Agile, but they can sign up for Agile Ventures through GitHub. So they just click the GitHub icon, and then yeah. So there was a major GitHub outage while I was asleep, actually, I like being asleep when they happen. Yes, so I think that's one thing that could have affected them. The other thing that has happened is that so if I come here, I will do a different browser, and I go into sign up. So we can see here, yeah, so actually now, yeah, this one, we have just temporarily disabled email registration.
Disabled, yeah.
Yeah, because we were getting huge numbers of spam signups.
Oh, geez.
So we basically had to shut it down. But you can sign up through GitHub, and what I would say is everyone should be signing up through GitHub. You can't be involved in software and not have a GitHub account, basically.
Sure.
So the message I would say to your students is, yeah, unfortunately they can't sign up via email at the moment, but we would very strongly encourage them. Please sign up via GitHub.
Got it. Okay.
And so
as long as I know what to tell them.
Yeah, yeah. So and so that then some of them also may have been signing up through. Obviously, the ones who were being successful. We shut down the email registrations about 10 days ago because of these spam signups. The ones who are successful are the ones who thought, oh right, I'll just do it through GitHub.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then some of them might have had trouble in the last 24 hours because GitHub was down. But anyway. So yes. So the other is must use.
Well, easy fix.
Yeah. And of course but then it reflects that the failure on our part is, what we should probably say here is email registration temporarily disabled. Please prefer GitHub for the time being, because someone coming to this. Yeah, it's one of these messaging things. I'll open a ticket on the site. So yes, so that's that thing. Then so Janet, you were saying yes. What's the correct place to go for homework solutions? And I think the answer to that is that we have all of these. So you're familiar, Janet, with basically each of the assignments has its own repo, like so.
Okay.
And then basically if you add CI on the end of it, then you get to a private repo that you as an instructor should have access to, and this will have solutions.
Excellent.
Yeah. And it's just, this is just a continuation of the old SaaSbook repo?
When you say there's a SaaSbook organization, and that on GitHub. Armando has moved. There used to be SaaSbook was the repo for the textbook. Armando has moved that out of there and onto his own personal thing, so that he can say, with hand on heart, that everything in the SaaSbook organization is open source and not for profit, or at least open source and not for profit. And so he's been able to get like a diamond education package for the SaaSbook thing. So now he's got like unlimited repos on here for these, like the private ones for the solutions and so on, because the money-making book has been moved out to his thing. So so you can see on here, if you just go to github.com/SaaSbook, then you can see all of that, the HW repos. There is, I mean, the granddaddy of all of these was not that one. The granddaddy was this one. So there is like a homework one, which was, we had kind of like all of the stuff in, and all of the solutions, all of the legacy solutions for all of these things are in here. So for example, the refactoring legacy code, I mean, the interesting thing, of course, here is the solution is a link to a repo that has the thing, rather than actually the code, which exists in another. But basically, I mean, it's all there, but somewhere. And if you have trouble navigating it, just scream, and I'll point you to the necessary thing.
Yeah, because I was looking around and I noticed some of them, the dates, the last update was an awfully long time ago, which had me a little bit worried.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
if it was 2 years ago, it's probably not going to be the new Rails.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's what there is. Do we have it like this? Did we have Rails in here directly? Yeah. So what you're going to see is that the main difference is that all the new versions are prefixed with HW hyphen. You see, so there's like a Rails intro that is like the old one, and maybe we should. Well, ultimately we'll make these private and archive them and so on. But
well, that's an easy way to tell, anyway.
Yeah. So so this is the Berkeley TAs last summer. What they did was to make a clean break, they prefixed everything with HW hyphen. So if you're in a HW hyphen, then that means that you're in the more recent. And all of the links in the SPOC and the MOOC link to the things. And then so if you're in the HW thing, then there should be, if you add the suffix of a hyphen CI, then that takes you to the private instructor repo associated with that homework.
Janet, have you worked through these new versions yet?
I have not. I'm partly through homework 0 since they have to start it next week. Yeah, and of course my thought was I'll just do them all, but with everything else going on, I think I'm going to get a little help from the solutions.
Well, I was thinking, are you interested in doing any pair programming?
Oh, that's a thought.
You know, because I would love to. I need to go through these new versions, and I would love to do some pair programming. You know, I'm happy to find somebody who would be willing to do that with me.
Yeah, it'd be fun to try. The trick is going to be timing, so I'm going to be traveling the next 3 weeks. So that's kind of the.
You're going to be. I'm sorry.
I'm going to be traveling the next 3 weeks. So.
Yeah.
You will not be seeing me in these calls. You know, I'll be. You know, I'm going to be trying to be in town at least. You know, Monday, Tuesday. My next couple Wednesday classes I had to just cancel. So.
Oh,
the way it goes. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
well, if at some point you can figure out a way to remote in, let me know.
Yeah. You know, I haven't tried any of the remote pairing or any of that stuff at all. So.
Yeah, we had some fun doing some remote pairing the other year, didn't we, Rose? With Paul.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we had. Were we actually using C9 on that occasion? I think we were, weren't we? Sometimes. Yeah. And I think the C9 offering has improved since we did it. I did one remote pairing with Raul on the new hang person assignment a couple of months back. Yeah, I mean, and potentially, you know, I might be available for a bit of pairing. At the moment, I'm kind of I am running some pairing, but it's related to the part 2 of the MOOC at the moment, because of course the part in the middle.
Let's do some emailing offline, Rose, and see if we have anything we can do.
Yeah.
I mean, just a little.
Actually, Sam, if you're doing some pairing having to do with part 2 of the MOOC, I would appreciate at least knowing when, because I mean I'm going to have to do it anyway.
Indeed. Yes. Well, also, I mean, it's all of the things do come up as notifications through the Agile Ventures Slack, but I'll certainly try and keep you in the loop in advance of time.
Well, specifically that. Yeah.
Specifically that one. I'll remember that. All right. Well, guys, I've got this next meeting to go on. Feel free to hang out and keep chatting for a while. But I think that worked quite well. Like in terms of we had kind of enough time to sort of chat through things, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which was
perfect.
Good. And I think, you know, I sort of feel like we've got like a little action item there which is sort of for all of us, which is to, you know, use the, what is it called? I forgot what it's called now already. Use this in instructor community resources repo to share stuff and see if we can coordinate some things to go for textbook.
Oh, by the way, Sam.
Yes.
I don't know if you're interested in this, but I could probably make you a guest or an observer in my course.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. You could do that, and then I could just sort of copy some stuff straight out for you. That would be, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That would be great.
So I'll try that.
Yeah, nice one. All right, I'm gonna nip off. Guys, feel free. Just because I leave doesn't mean the party has to finish. You guys have fun, and I'll see you maybe back to Friday.
I hope you enjoy your party tomorrow.
Oh yes, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Yes, you know, that's the boss. Yeah, at home. All right, let's turn off the screen share here.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, have fun, and I'll see you next Friday. Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Take care. Bye for now.
So, Janet, do you want me to give you my email and all that?
Probably. I'm sure I have it if I look through the archive.
Probably, but why look?
Let's go ahead. Yeah.
It's ROSEW @binghamton.edu.
Okay, and mine is jburge, so JBURGE, at wesleyan.edu.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately most of my homework working time is going to be on the weekends. So.
Well, I mean that's what I wondered because that's usually when I do it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So maybe we can coordinate something then.
Yeah.
Because I really do feel like I should work through homework 1. You know, homework 0 I did, so I'm just sort of refreshing my memory. But I really ought to approach homework 1. You know, like the students are going to do it, and yeah, that would be.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, homework 0. You know, I don't. It's fun to do, but it's not like really going to present any issues. But homework 1, yeah, I want to kind of see what's going to be different, what might challenge the students. You know, and you just are not going to know until you do it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that sounds great. So yeah, let's see if maybe we can set something up.
I usually do this. I usually do my programming and academic work either early in the morning or in the evening, and I work all through the weekend. So, you know.
Such is life.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying that you don't have to worry about.
Okay.
You know.
All right, yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, let's send some emails and maybe pick some times. You know, I got a lot of stuff I'm doing to prepare for my trip next week, but you know.
Oh, I'm sure you have a lot to do. Yes.
Yeah. So, but if we carve out a few hours to.
Exactly, I think it'd be fun, and we might be able to do it quicker.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. Quick is definitely great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds great.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to work. So.
Yep.
Take care.
Yeah, I got to teach them regular expressions on Monday, so I'm gonna go try to.
Oh, what's fun! Yeah, I still am trying to work through some decent examples of that, some decent exercises for that. I mean, I found some, but I'm not totally happy with it. I think I've got to do better in that respect.
Well, and learning from what they give in the book doesn't work for someone who's never seen them before.
Yeah, yeah.
And I asked my students, and I think about 5 hands went up, and they did not go up high.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they're kind of like, you know, so I think that I told them that that's going to be Mondays. So.
Yeah, and that's a little worrisome.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I actually found for the regular expressions, doing them from the homeworks were harder, or at least for homework 0, than actually doing them for the cucumber stories.
Really?
Well, yeah, because I felt like by the time you got to the cucumber stories, there were a lot of examples you could kind of copy.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true.
You know, because when you go into homework 0, it's like
it's challenging.
Like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. I have no idea. You know, so I kind of feel like it's because I was able to do them. You know, doing them for the cucumber assignments. You know, it was a pain, but it was certainly a lot easier, I thought, than doing some of the earlier ones. Because you know, just looking. If you see enough examples of similar things, you can just kind of copy them and get them to work. So yeah, I think having a lot of examples is really going to be key.
Well, yeah, I think it's key. It's absolutely key.
Yeah, so those would be other good things to share on our site.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah, no, because I mean, I go through, you know, all of the tutorials, and you know, they just don't. I found them all to be terrible. You know, everyone I look at, I'm like, this is just. It seems like it's assuming you know how you're doing things.
Yeah, that's my point. I'm not happy with any of them.
Yeah, I'm hoping I like Richard's slides, but yeah, that's going to be a challenge to have.
I really want to look at his slides. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I promised the students I was going to talk about it in class on Monday, so I guess it's going to happen.
Yeah, I hear you. Yep. Same here. Where did Richard put those?
I don't know. I think he gave us the link last week, and I think I typed it up in a file. So.
And I hope you got